Hi, I know some of you, and some the ones that don't. I'm Mike Warweg, and Ryan asked me to talk about prayer. And I'm going, okay. So I always believed in prayer. I grew up, saying, praying, and so our son Tom came and he needed a transplant. Well, that was, to me, that was just, okay, no big thing. I didn't realize, you got to remember this was 20, 30 years ago, and it was a big thing, my wife reminded me. So he needed a bone marrow transplant, which, I've never heard of much of that stuff before. So Denise just filled me all in about it, and so lo and behold, the day came that we had to take him up to the University Hospital in St. Paul. And so everything, we got him checked in and everything was going good, and they did the transplant, and the doctors all come out and say, and the nurses say, yep, everything went real well, and no complications, and the match is working good, which was real news, good news for us. So Denise stayed there that night, and I went home and took the kids and took care of the kids at home. And so 2 days later, a day later, I'm not sure on the exact time, but I get a call from work saying that I should get up, and I could tell something was going wrong because the gal's voice was kind of, broke up a little bit. So I went home, changed, and got the kids all ready to, daycare and stuff. And so then I got up there, and just as I walking in there, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I don't know the exact time, but I'll never forget, and I was telling Ryan, I said, I'll never forget the guy's hands. The doctor, he goes, I said, what's wrong? He says, well, I give him about this much chance. And that guy had such big fingers, I don't know how he could do any surgery. And he had them right in my hand. I couldn't believe it. So then we went in, Denise and I went in, and she was sobbing, and so we started calling people to pray for him. And she was on a prayer chain, got him on a prayer chain, and he said, the doctor told us to get hold of our family, our pastor, because he didn't think he would make it through the night, let alone another 12 hours. So we got the call to come up, and that Tom was expected to only live for another 10, 12 hours, whatever, and Denise had her mom and dad, and we had our pastor there, and we all gathered around his bed, and that's when I could feel that probably one of the first really prayers that had some meaning and to it. They did that, and they gave him his last rites and everything, and so we all took off. Denise stayed there, and so the next day I come back up, and I said, and Denise says, yeah, everything's going pretty good. And, it's really good. He made it through the night, and they give him a really good chance of surviving. And so I asked the doc, I said, what's going on? And he said, well, I think we just misread our charts. I looked at the nurse, and the doctor's telling us that they misread the charts. And the nurse looked at me, and she just looked at me. She goes, raises her eyes and gives us, yeah, right. But that's the first time that I've seen that I could testify that it was prayer that did the miracle. It wasn't some drug or whatever. It was prayer that brought him back to stable conditions, and to this day, and now prayer is why we have our son Tom. And I'm a firm believer in it, seeing it firsthand that it does work, and you don't need to be a pastor or a preacher, whatever, to be a good prayer person. My son Tom was one prayer away from healing, and to this day he's doing fine, no side repercussions. He gets checked every 5-6 years, and so it's a miracle that's walking on the streets for us. God does answer prayer.